Hey, Kelsey, Norm MacDonald here. So, you have a podcast, huh? Fantastic. You know what I always say? You know what the world needs more of? Podcasts.
Live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, The Kelsey Hudgins Show.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, indeed, SKREW ballwhiskey.com, screwballwhiskey.com. Tomorrow's stories begin right here. Hashtag get screwed, hashtag screw it forward. All of the peanut butter whiskeys are posers. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey is the one and only original peanut butter whiskey for the misfits, the black sheep, the screwballs. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. DramaCityProductions.com, DramaCityProductions.com/Kelsey Hudgins Show. Come hang out with us in the Kill Tony Discord at KillDiscord.com. Follow me on Instagram, Twitch, and Twitter at YonderWizard, ZZERD. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the great and powerful Ryan Joseph. What's up, dog? Great and powerful.
I don't want to see myself because it looks like my voice is lagging. Open this up, full screen, and just look at. Well, I guess it's too late. Whatever. What's up, man?
How's it going, buddy? How you doing? It's good to officially meet you and see you here in the internet.
Yeah, I've never seen this kind of format before, where it's just me like a powerful angel on your shoulder telling you wise, loving advice, like
Yeah.
a child molester grooming his victim.
That's exactly what's happening right now. Is I'm being groomed. No, but man, we were. This is going to be good. I saw you on my buddy Dave's podcast the other day with Dave and WB and Jimmy.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It was good, man. I liked you going over Dave's bits. That was funny, just because I know Dave likes to go over bits.
Yeah, that was interesting because I didn't know. I didn't know if he was going over premises or we were supposed to riff or what it was. So I felt like I was like, "What are we doing?" But he has some good ideas.
He's idea man.
Yeah, he's good ideas. He just needs, I think, to work on putting them together, be more clear.
Yeah, well, what can you do? But no, it was good, man.
Stuff to work on.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, man, we were just talking a bit ago about the being alone aspect of the internet. You know how we were talking about meeting each other through the internet, and does this really count? And it kind of counts, I guess. Yep, go for it, man. But yeah, we were just talking about the way, and I personally just like the idea of, if I want to be alone, I can hit this button and then I'm alone.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I like being alone after I'm social. Like, I miss the clubs.
Yeah.
I miss being around a bunch of people. Like, I think humans need to be around each other, and that was the most disastrous thing they could have done with this whole bullshit lockdown, is separate us.
Oh yeah.
Because we need each other, and I like to retreat into my own place and block out the world afterwards, but I get my best ideas from around people and stuff like that. And
sure. Yeah, you kind of need that. You kind of need that human interaction, right? That just the inspiration, I guess, for anything. Because I mean, if you just sit alone at home, all the material that you're gonna have just involves your fucking house.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I've so many jokes I've written have just been me talking to someone and making them laugh because they set it up. The topic sets up, and then I say the punch. Of course, they don't know what they're setting up.
Right.
And I realize it's a joke, and then I'll polish it up and be like, or this concept is funny or whatever. And I mean, the only reason we're here is because two people came together and fucked.
That's right.
We have to be alone. Like, we wouldn't be alone without being together.
That's true. It an act of togetherness, the most intimate act of togetherness, is what spawns us.
Yeah,
So we owe it to ourselves.
yeah, unless your father mailed the semen to your mom, which mine did, then it's the same, you know.
Yeah, of course it is. So, yeah, but I think that this all is. Do you think it's gonna? Do you think that we're on the cusp of something that's gonna be somewhat like what we used to have, or is everything gonna be somewhat digitized from now on just because of everything that has gone down? You think we'll get
We're
any
all,
kind of?
we're all gonna die.
Yeah, of course we are eventually.
No, this year. No, I think I think people are. My opinion is that when people are afraid, the reptilian part of your brain kicks in,
Sure.
which blocks off any access to the frontal cortex where you actually think and realize what you're doing. You're not going to think logically about a car coming towards you on the street. Your reptilian brain kicks in, throws you off. And the fucking powers that be know that they can just threaten us with the virus and shut down our whole lives. That was the most disastrous thing for me because it was like, oh, everything was taken away. I'm not as free as I thought I was. You know, they can take
Yeah.
away stand up, which is like to me represents freedom, as cliche as it sounds. And that was really hard for me. And I think people, you know, I look when they do the outdoor dining shit,
Yeah.
people run to outside their, by the way, which is bullshit. They're just begging for scraps from the king. They'd be like, they want to open up the fucking restaurant indoor full capacity, you know? Why do they care about outdoor dining? They're such fucking pussies. Anyways, so the they run to it. They all want to get together and sit and have dinner together. But they tell themselves it's okay because they only need a mask if they stand up. When you sit
Yeah.
down, you don't need a mask. They're fucking retarded, dude. Their fear has diluted their brain. They're wearing masks so they can't breathe, and their cells are deoxygenized, and they believe this shit that they're told. All these comics wearing masks, staying at home on Zoom, they're not comics. When did comics start listening to rules? You know, when
That's a
did
very
comics?
fair point,
Yeah,
especially for comedians, because comedy has sort of been the driving force in rebellion over
yeah.
the years against things. So that is very interesting how that's doing. And I feel the same way. I feel the same way about the Zoom mics. And I've I heard you talking about the Zoom mics the other day in the podcast you did with at the DGen Den. Shout out dgenden.net, I think .net. But yeah, about the Zoom thing, I don't really, because I mostly do my bits between songs at a music show. So I don't,
Right.
it's still on stage, but the people aren't there for a comedy show. So I don't really count it as doing stand up. But in the same breath, the Zoom mics are there for stand up, yet you're not actually in front of a crowd that,
No,
so you can't feel that energy. And the energy is the thing. That's what you're after, right?
it's a shortcut. I got into some festivals that I applied to, and then they tell you it's virtual, and I said I want to see what it is that these people are so enamored with. So I did it, and it was the most retarded thing I've ever seen. I mean, because but I could see why they like it though,
Right.
because I just sat on my couch and it was just said jokes. It was so easy. They don't have to deal with the anxiety or the adrenaline before going on stage, the
Yeah.
bombing. They can go cry in their room when they bomb, and it's just two steps away. They can. It's just so easy. It's a shortcut, and they want this to be forever because they don't want to work. They don't want to go
Yeah.
through pain. They don't want suffering. Their whole lives were shit anyway. So why do they want it back to normal?
Oh,
Because then I
sure.
could,
I've noticed a lot of that in some of the circles that I run with, that it seems, well, online, it seems that a lot of folks are very much like falling into complacency, I guess, with the way everything's going now. And I'm in South Carolina, so honestly, dude, like shit hasn't really changed much for me, like
You're lucky.
at all. And dude, I was just in Texas. A couple weeks ago, and
How
man,
was it?
it was free. It was fucking. It was free.
I'm so
Everybody, yeah, I'm excited because you're going out. You'll be out there. I think a week before me or a week after me, or
I think before. I think you're going. You said I'm going down there February 3rd,
yeah,
and I'm doing Kill Tony February 8th. I think so.
yeah. I'll be there a couple
But
weeks after you.
I might go back. I might be like, or I might never go. I might never leave. I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah, just stay in Texas or never
I don't
go to.
need any. I don't need anything. I'll leave all my stuff here.
They're in Chinafornia.
China, the People's Republic of California.
That's funny. I've been calling it Chinafornia ever since I've heard you say it. That's fucking hilarious. But yeah.
So I got that from someone else. I think I heard that somewhere.
Oh well, I'm giving you the credit, so
I'll take it.
roll Tide. But yeah, I dug Texas a lot, man. Like other than they hit me with the little temperature deal. Whenever we went into one restaurant that we went into, everything else was like. I mean, obviously you kind of got to do the mask thing until you get to your table or whatever. Which I don't really mind that because here,
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people that like will wear a mask just
Yeah.
because people don't come up to me and bother me anymore. It just gives me a reason to just like zone into my own where I'm going and fuck what anybody else wants to say. I just
People used to bother you.
no. It's not necessarily bother, but like I'm in a pretty popular band in my area, and
Okay.
people will come up to me at times and just start small talk or whatever, and
I could see if you're like well known, it'd be pretty advantageous to wear a mask.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and dude, I just don't. I appreciate all of the folks who like to talk to me and shit like that, but then I just don't want like entertaining small talk. It's just not. I don't get it. And
I would. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I want to have a conversation with somebody like a nice real thing instead of just well, how's the weather, blah blah blah. Like okay, let's talk about something real. Like, are you sad? Tell me what depresses you.
Yeah. Yeah. I like when people tell me they're depressed because it just makes me. Because like even if it's depression, at least like I mean, someone doesn't have to say they're depressed to be real, but if they say they're depressed, that means they're being real.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes I think that's the only reason like Tony let me keep coming back on the shows because I was humiliated and heartbroken. I didn't give a fuck about anything. And that's when it's like, oh, that's when you like me now, Tony. But whatever.
That's actually really funny about that whole saga of how you ended up there with the that whole girlfriend saga was pretty incredible stuff. It was almost like a random side storyline that had us all interested because at a time in which the quarantine shows were good for what they were, but man, all that extra stuff gave us like literally just a whole side story to keep up with throughout all that. And
That's so crazy. Like, because it was like I almost had to thank her for cheating on me. You know, it's like, hey, I mean, there's good things that come out of bad stuff.
of
You know,
course,
and of course, I'm not with that girl anymore. I have a new girlfriend.
shout out
And
new girlfriend.
yeah, she's nicer because she lives in a few states away. We go and see each other, but I don't have to talk to her that much, so she's nicer. And
Yeah.
no, but she actually saw me on Kill Tony and reached out to me.
Hell yeah, dude.
One of the few women that do that. It's usually guys that are saying, "Hey, dude, I like your comedy," and
Right.
and it was a girl, but like she's cool. I like her, but like, yeah, that story, I had I had no idea that Tony or anyone would want to hear more about that. But it was embarrassing though, and I regretted saying it in a way because at the comedy store, you've been there at the parking lot. That's where they would set up all the tables and stuff
Yeah.
uh, for the comics to sit, and or anyone that wanted to just go sit there. It was just comics trying to get on Kill Tony, and but they had a big screen TV, and Tony would come out and lie and say, "Hey, it's live," and it wasn't. It was like 3 weeks come forward, and people would watch it out there, and they had to order food and stuff, and they made you wear a mask when you walked to it. So I was like, "Fuck you, I'll do it. I don't give a fuck." I hate them. But it was embarrassing because when you would walk out and you knew you were on the episode that they were watching and they just know your personal business. I don't like to talk about myself on stage. I like to make up jokes,
Yeah.
So it was like, wow, people know my business. I felt like just a fucking bitch.
Oh yeah, dude. Anytime you let something vulnerable like that out, like it's not fun. And I don't know, but that's what everybody always says, right? Is that you're supposed to pull your comedy from the darkest part of your life, and the Richard Pryor telling the stories about being fucked up on crack and setting himself on fire or whatever, like things that he's actually embarrassed about, that you make the best bits on. But I, like you, I like short jokes. I like to cut as much off as I possibly can. And I heard you say that the other day, and man, nothing truer than that. The least amount of words you can use to get to a punch is the most like efficient way, I think, to do comedy, in my opinion. But
Yeah, and if you're doing like a long set, you can put all those jokes together that are in a common theme, maybe, but like, and have like a few words to lead into it. But like, yeah, no one really writes jokes anymore. And like, I heard Dave Attell being interviewed by Brian Scalera on his Patreon, and Dave Attell was saying it's an extinct art form. And like Dave Attell loves writing good jokes.
oh yeah,
That's it's a and the thing about it is like I'll write so many jokes that and only maybe one will be good, and you have to go through. I only like to bomb at open mics because if I can make a comic laugh, then I know it'll crush the crowd. So
right.
I'll go there, humiliate myself in front of my friends until I find a good joke, and then I'll take that with me and collect them all the good ones and take it and then just have a great show. But the thing about it is like if you have a long bit, you can crush with it, but it's not dependable because if the audience is not feeling it and you're not feeling it, you're off. There's so many intricacies and fucking nuances that you have to have in that bit that it can go wrong so easily. But if you have one short little joke, every word counts. No matter how bad you feel, it'll work. And it's just like bulletproof. It's like a piece of gold, you know?
Yeah. And two, I've noticed that sometimes the one-liners take part of the room a second to get, but half of the room will get it and start laughing immediately, and then when the other part of the room gets it, it's sort of like you can feel laughter into the part where all of the other setup would have gone.
Yeah. It's like a longer laugh.
Yeah. What do they call that? The buy one get one free.
I guess I've never heard that. If that's a thing, maybe I guess that would make sense,
Yeah.
Um,
But I don't know. Like it's fun. The small jokes are good. Sorry.
no. I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah. How many people are allowed into Antone's?
When I was there was it looked like about an average. I don't know. It looked like, I don't know what capacity would have been. Maybe 50% capacity, maybe.
Yeah.
But there was like 8 rows of tables and at least 4 people at a table in just the front, and then another dozen along the sides, and they had people sitting up along the walls and like bar stool type
Right.
situations, and
So
like,
maybe like 8 for each, probably like 40, 50 people, maybe 70.
yeah, somewhere around there. It seemed like
That sounds like heaven
a
to
hundred a
me.
hundred person room, dude. It's so intimate because like you can. It's not like being in like an arena type situation to where you can't make a connection with anybody because there's too goddamn many. But it's really nice to like, I don't know. It's really nice to get into that sort of a room. The energy is nice. They're not
Yeah.
intimidating at all. It, but that was
See,
my experience.
Texas, from the things I've watched online, they seem I've been trying to study them, but it seems like it's a docile crowd,
mm,
you know?
yeah, I will say this is that I noticed this, that and I have to be very careful how I say this thing, but
No, on camera.
but yeah, I think that the band not being the character, quirky, fun, hyping up the people in between the sets band has led to the crowd being a little more attentive, and it's more of like
Yeah.
a listening crowd rather than like, like
The circus.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so I sort of pulled a little bit of that from it, but dude, I think that that's gonna push the show in a um completely different arena.
Well, it could be a good thing because
Sure, yeah,
the thing about the Comedy Store during the pandemic was it was like, 10 people in the main room, man, the fucking main room, which is supposed to be like 500, I think, or something.
yeah,
Um, and so it was so intimate that it was easy just to talk to them like you were talking to some friends. And it'd be, I've done it when I would do the couple times I did it pre-pandemic. You have all those sea of faces in front of you. It's harder to like open up.
yeah.
And so it could be like a good thing. And that place seems like very, really like, nice little dark setting. Everyone looks beautiful. The lights set right. And I don't know, but
It's very nice.
I know I'd like to like find out who the booker or the manager of that place is, but I can't because maybe like I could score a feature spot or something. But uh, they don't really know me that well, so
Hey, David's doing a couple of sold out shows there, man.
David's a big shot, big headliner, so I can't do it. I'm not on his
Hey,
level.
you never know, man. You get it, holler at old David. Holler at old David.
I doubt it, but I doubt he would hook that up. But you never know. I talked to William a lot, but I've never really talked to David. William's way more approachable. David's kind of like he's kind of like he's less approachable. You're just like kind of afraid to go up to him. Maybe it's because he's like black.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't
Maybe
know.
I'm just I don't know. I never knew. I found out. No, I just never knew.
Well, it is what it is. It happens to the best of them. I
No, I grew up in Miami. Like I'm used to being around like a lot of ethnicities, and
Yeah, same dude.
I noticed a lot of like the last set or the last show, people going up there telling racial jokes, racist jokes, and it's such a delicate thing to do. To do that and get away with it because you can't when you do a racist joke, you have to be really stupid when you say it. If the audience sees you as a intelligent being that really thought about that, you lost them.
Yeah. It has to be, yeah. I think it has to be just silly goose all the way, or it's not gonna work.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, they can be fun. I like telling anything that's sensitive to people because you that's why because people want to laugh at all this crazy dark shit, you know? That's I think this is
Right.
my theory is that people want to laugh at child molestation and rape and racism because we're just fed this stuff all through all the time and this horrible stuff, horrible stuff. But then you give them the opportunity to laugh at it, you know?
Well, it takes the power away from it, doesn't it? You know,
Yeah,
in a way, and
it's a
obviously
good
it
way.
doesn't change the fact that that could have happened to somebody who may be a little offended by that sort of humor. But for a lot of people, but not for everyone, somebody who that happened to could hear that joke and be like, ah, that's funny, and
Yeah,
it
I
puts that in a
wonder.
different light for them. Who knows?
Yeah, I wonder. I'd like to find someone that was like molested and be like, "Hey, man, how'd you feel when I said that child molestation joke? Did you think of that dude molesting you?"
Did it bring back any bad memories? I actually, Dave had a joke that he was trying to work out about necrophilia, and he said something about minor necrophilia, and in my mind that went to like a minor, like an underage person.
Oh yeah, the minor joke. Yeah,
So I was like, that should be I suffer from minor necrophilia, which means I only fuck dead kids.
yeah. The
And
thing, yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
Sorry,
no,
it's,
that
it's hard with the lag to like not cut you off, but keep going.
no, that's basically all I was gonna say is that it's just when you can put something like that on a joke and make it quirky and funny and or not on a joke, but on like a bad situation that somebody may have experienced, it kind of removes the power a little bit.
Yeah, I think my philosophy is I actually built a course because I saw these comics were building courses to teach people stand-up comedy, and I might lose my job because of my offensive jokes. I'm waiting to find out. So I was like, well, I'll do it. Maybe I'll get some extra cash. And I built one just on my ideas about comedy. And I talk about how actually I should add this. I don't even know if I talked about it, but like when you when you say like he says, I only fuck dead kids, it would it would be better, in my opinion, to say that in another way where it implies it.
Yeah,
You
where you're
know,
not saying it. Yeah,
you can't if you say it and it's not as fun. You know,
yeah,
like that's like that you have to show the audience rather than tell them.
yeah. I guess it's almost a way of like you're assuming that they're dumb by having to explain it, and that's insulting to
Yeah,
them
yeah. So like,
subconsciously.
how would you do that? Like, how would you say, I suffer from minor necrophilia, um, which means blah blah blah. How
I
would you
maybe
say
I don't know.
I
I
fuck?
suffer from minor necrophilia, which means that I only use Spider-Man condoms, or I don't know something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So I always find like Spider-Man costumes, or so I hate Spider-Man costumes. Or well, if they're dead, the kid is dead. That means um they. I mean, I guess they're just wearing kid clothes, so you'd have to like say. So it's way faster to undress them because there's not many punch clothes.
Yeah,
I'm I'm very sick.
there's a lot of places you can go with that. But I'm glad you brought up the comedy course that you're doing. I don't want to call it like a. It's almost like a masterclass type thing. That right? Almost.
Yeah, I felt douchey building it because who am I to teach people comedy? But like, it's like I don't know. It's really it's for people wanting to know how to start comedy. But I think people that have already doing it, they would just the writing part would be maybe beneficial to them
Yeah.
because they can see another way. I learned a lot because a lot of that stuff, not the writing part, because the writing part I taught mainly from my process, but like All the other stuff, like the types of comedy and how you do it, the anecdotal. I didn't know that when you tell a story that you don't tell it in the chronology of events, you tell it in subjects. This is the next subject that happened. This is the next subject, like
Tarantino
Theo.
style.
Yeah, yeah. That's what makes it interesting. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't watched through any of the videos yet, but I actually did subscribe to the, is that the right word? Subscribe to the
And
enroll. Yeah, enroll in the class. And dude, just the organization in how everything is set up and how like part 1 has like super basic stuff and then the intricacies that you know that start to come together towards the end of the course, and just the index of it is fucking impressive, dude. Like it's really impressive. You guys should check that out.
well, it's like my day job is building online courses, or it was. Now my day job is just getting paid for some jokes that I wrote and make women cry.
You know what? I'm gonna drop a link to that
I
in
don't
the
see
YouTube
people.
chat.
Are people in the chat? Because I don't see the YouTube. Or would I have to go on YouTube to see it?
Yeah, there's a few on YouTube. There's a few on Twitch. If anybody has anything they would like to ask or add, please put it in there. We got a few people watching. There's about 13 of them out there watching
Holy
live.
shit, that's awesome.
But yeah, I'm gonna put.
I want to see if anyone. I like. I don't know. I'm interested in that. But yeah, like, thanks for inviting me on, man. Doing Dave's show is really fun, and I like doing podcasts. I like being on them. I'm starting my own. Um,
Hell yeah, dude.
yeah.
When are you gonna launch that?
Well, I'm starting it with my friend Lulu Jovovich, who is like related to Mia Jovovich. That's why I hang out with her, just so I,
Nice.
tell myself I hung out with Mila Jovovich.
Dude,
No, she's actually a funny comic, for a woman. And I was actually, we did our first episode today, and I was saying that I think it's like my girlfriend doesn't think any like woman should be on stage at all, which is what made me like her a lot. But um, no, no, I was saying today that like um, I don't think there's unfunny women. I just think a lot of unfunny women do stand up because I met a lot of funny women. Like when I did Groundlings for a semester, there was actually some funny women in there, but they were all into sketch and stuff, and they could do like different characters and shit like that, and they really cracked me up. So I don't know what is it about stand up that draws horribly unfunny women. And when you find a couple that are funny, that do it, I always tell them you have an edge, then they usually get raved by someone, and then I just walked away. But
then it happens, and then they never do it again. Do you notice that maybe some of them? Oh, so go ahead.
that's just part of the game, honey.
You just you got to know the score when you jump in. Do you think that a lot of them just have charisma and like a decent writing staff for the most
Oh,
part?
the top ones,
The
the
top
top.
one, maybe.
So what do you have? Like Whitney Cummings is big. She's famous. What's her name?
I was gonna go the Schumer route with
Amy
just
Schumer.
having a bunch of writers.
Well, she like steals jokes, right?
Yeah, and is it true that did she used to date what's his face, the roast guy?
She dated Jesselnick.
Yeah, and wasn't like probably most of those jokes probably his or him punching up all of her jokes? Like,
Yeah, he probably helped her.
I mean, probably greatly, but
She's like, I'll give you a head if you fix this joke. And he's like, fuck it, fine.
And he's like, okay, or however
Yeah,
he
he's
does
like,
it.
I'll do it, whatever.
I'll do it.
I've actually met him, and he's very nice in person.
I've heard. I've noticed that a lot of those roast persona people are very, very nice IRL. Like Tony
Yeah.
is one of those people. Tony seems very intimidating
Yeah.
otherwise, but is just very fucking cool in person. Just
Oh, yeah.
super nice, super chill, very eager to help and
Yeah.
give advice.
Yeah. Tony knows. Tony's like a real comic. You know, he knows that he found his persona and he leaned into it. And yeah, he's totally different off stage. He's just really cool, supportive. I remember the first time I talked to him like one on one, we were talking about like Stephen King's On Writing, that book on writing, you know, and our different
Yeah.
attitudes about writing. And he was telling me, you know, like I was voicing some concerns I have, and he was like, "Oh," he's always saying whenever I talk to him, he's like, "Well, that's negative thinking. You shouldn't think like that," you know, which annoys the fuck out of me because he's right. I know he's right, probably, but like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I hate when people tell me that.
Don't be so negative.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I, I don't tell me what to do.
I'll figure this shit out on my own, dude.
Let me complain to you.
What was the thing that you did? And I may have missed this in the other episode the other day if you answered this, but what is the thing that happened that made you think, oh yeah, I think that I want to make people laugh. I think I want to do stand-up comedy, and that's like something that I feel like I can handle in my life as far as a more than just a hobby. What was that moment?
You know, I've always been funny. I've always made people laugh. But like I went to like an all black and Hispanic school in Miami for
Yeah.
a bit. And then I would get in a fight with my stepmom, and then they would send me up to Jacksonville where it was all white people, and then back and forth, back and forth. But when I was down there and I was a minority, I would make people laugh, but it, you know, just because that's how I
Right.
like interact. But it was like I didn't like that I did that. I felt like I don't know why. I remember walking to school and telling myself, "Don't make people laugh today." It wasn't something I was proud of. I just felt like for some reason, but like
Did it feel more like a laughing at you thing?
yeah, or it was just it seemed very like exhausting to like do it, or I don't know why I didn't like it. Maybe because it drew attention to myself and I didn't want attention drawn to
Yeah,
myself.
I can see that.
Because the whole point of doing it was to like for people to be nice to me, but I didn't want them to like look at me, you know, because I was so blonde and white, and it was just I stuck out, and it was you know. But anyways, I dropped out of high school like when I was 17, I think, and got my GED. I should have did that when I was like 5.
Yeah, right. I fucking hated school, dude.
It was the waste of time. I went to college and all that, and it was the worst idea ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it got me a job, but like I'm in debt. You know, I know what it's like to be like how those slaves must have felt back in, you know, the 1700s because I owe student loans. You know, it's the same thing, the same kind of pain. I know what it's like, you know, I know what it's like. I know what they went through because it's like, man, I got to pay like, you know, a monthly payment. I must, you know, those guys, I feel for them.
It's just the same thing that they all went through.
I get it.
Nah, man. But seriously though, but it's the whole student loan situation. I also dropped out of high school, but ended up going back and getting my diploma and like taking summer school classes after the year I graduated so that I could actually get my fucking diploma.
Yeah.
But man, I went to this way weird Christian school. Like it opened when I was in like 7th grade, and I started going there in 8th grade. And like me and like 6 other people are the only graduates that school will ever have, because it closed down the year after we graduated, and we were the first graduating class.
Why did they close down? The molestation?
All of the molestation and all of the raping. No, it was the Pentecostal Holiness Conference shut the school down because there weren't, after the high school, like the senior class graduated out, there weren't enough students to keep the shit open anymore.
Yeah.
So they shut that down, and so when I got ready to go to college, and they're trying to get a hold of my transcripts, there's nowhere for them to call to get my fucking transcripts because the school's closed. And that was a huge problem with everybody else in my graduating class. Yeah, there were 7 of us, and we still don't talk.
Yeah. But back to your question, I started stand-up in Seattle for some reason. I just thought, it came to my mind I should try that. And I went to a few open mics around town, Comedy Underground, and I remember just how scared it was. It was so fucking scary. And no laughs whatsoever, at all. And maybe one laugh because I just was bad or something happened by accident. But then and I always wanted to keep doing it, but I had to move for a job that I finally got in the field I was trying to, a day job. I went to Florida, and I didn't really keep doing it because I could have, but I didn't. But I started acting in like short films, student films, some non-union features, and I decided I want to go to LA to do acting because I realized I was just like a brilliant actor. I was like one of the best that ever was.
Yeah.
And I thought I was depriving LA because no one ever thought about like, hey, I'll go to LA to be an actor. It was like this original idea I had.
Novel.
And then I drew out. I went out there and wasn't getting anything, right? Well, actually, the first week I went out there, I got a part, and I thought it was a big deal. And apparently, like, everyone gets this, but it was like America's Court with Judge Ross, and I can't find the episode at all. But I play like a medieval knight, not in the outfit, but like there's a dude who's works with me at medieval times, and he's suing me because I apparently like rigged his saddle to make him fall off because I was trying to get the promotion and he was getting to like the top knight, right?
Who writes this?
I don't know, but I ran because I was like, I don't think the judge knew that I would or Judge Ross knew that I would take that and start making everyone laugh with it, because I was like, this is a serious matter, but I don't think he liked it because it was like his show, right? And I fucking took that shit. I was like, no, I'm a medieval knight. He doesn't know what I do. And
you don't eat chickens whole.
Yeah, it was like, fuck, I joust all the time. Anyway, I never got anything, man. I was taking acting lessons. I was like, this sucks. I realized the fucking acting lessons were stupid and expensive for nothing. And I was like, I'm gonna try open mics again. And I started going, and for some reason I started going every day. I got addicted to it with no thought of like what it might lead to. Really, I just kept going, and that stand-up started opening doors for me, and I started to really fall in love. And then one day, and I wasn't that great, and I would just go up there, and I'd like a lot of comics. I thought if I just go on stage and talk, people will laugh, and it's not the case.
No.
And I would try. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to write jokes, but like one day I saw I started to pay attention to Dangerfield and Jeselnik and the one-liners, a couple of British ones, and I saw finally it clicked to my brain what a setup and a punch was and a twist. Like I was like, I can do that, and I started. But actually, the turning moment for me was I was on stage and I said people used to think I was a school shooter, and I got so many laughs for that, right? And I realized that's how people look at me, someone like that, like a school shooter. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to lean into that and be the creep school shooter. And the stoner school shooter that doesn't know what the fuck's going on, and write from that persona, learn to write jokes, and then I started getting a little better, and I
Dude,
just loved it.
that's pretty incredible that you find out. That's a huge aha moment when you finally see how everybody else sees you,
Yeah.
and
Most
then
people
yeah, then that's like a cheat code for being able to, you know, because that's what I was saying, or we were talking about the other night in messages about how because when I say something like I never really understood rape whistles because, you know, last thing I want to do is draw attention to myself
don't.
or
Yeah.
whatever, you know, because I look like that, I guess, or not really, but then
And you got laughs.
yeah, I got so like that was really good. It was, I don't know, those are that's a really fun thing. 'Cause I'd like to, because I'd done the podcast for so long, I felt like shit, I could just get on stage and just talk, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as like, you know, doing jokes. So you found your joke formula after
Yeah.
starting stand up.
Yeah. Because, yeah, the rape whistle is you. You are a rapist.
Yeah.
But no, but you're like a creepy white dude,
Yeah.
and like that's what, like, it matched up. What you were saying finally matched up with what you look like. And most
Right.
comics don't, they want to go up there and be what they want to be. They want to be, smart. They want to be Dave Chappelle, or they want to be whatever. And it's not what you are. And I think acting classes actually helped me with that, because they would make you stand in front of the class and everyone would say what you look like, which was kind of
Roasty.
crazy. Yeah, well, just like, because the whole thing was like your headshots, right? You don't want your headshots to be something other than you are. So you want your headshots to say Ryan looks like a mechanic, or Ryan looks like a stoner, because that's what you're going to be cast with. That's your brand.
Yeah.
And, people want, I'm not the tall, dark, handsome leading man. I was like the weirdo. So, and that's the only way you're going to get roles, if you go out for weirdo roles. And the only way you're going to get laughs is if you go out for who you are. And that's being who you are. I don't write about myself on stage, but the darkness comes out. It
Sure.
just does. I don't know. That's what I find funny.
Yeah, I think so. I think that too is just like, you know, embracing your monster, whatever that may be,
Yeah.
and just
Dark shadow.
yeah, exactly. So you mentioned like the stoner creep or whatever, but I heard you say that you don't do anything, right? You don't smoke or drink or anything, right? Are you completely sober?
Yeah, I am.
Whatever. But I heard you say that you don't do. Hey,
Wait,
but
sorry.
no, you're good.
What were you saying?
No, just what does that is that always been a deal, or is that something that you stumbled upon later as well? The
Well,
sober
I was
thing.
a drug I was a drug addict in my 20s.
Yeah,
Um, and
same.
I had to finally come to terms with that, I guess. I used to think I just had a drug problem, but it turns out I'm a drug addict.
Dude,
And
there's a difference.
yeah, I used to think that all I needed to do was quit drugs, but the problem was that I'm a drug addict.
Yeah.
And I had to understand that like I can't, I can't just smoke a joint once in a while, or have a beer, or maybe pop a pill to calm down. Anything that really makes me escape from reality, I take it and run. And I my life was just going to shit, dude, and I was getting into harder and harder stuff. No matter where I moved, I would find it. It would come to me, especially when I didn't want it. And I just finally, and I would try to go to the program, AA, that stuff, and I hated it. I thought it was a cult. I thought that they were full of shit and weird, and they would tell me I'm insane, and I would be like, well, no, you guys are whatever. But then I moved out to Seattle, because I was in Florida, and that's where I'm from, And I moved out to Seattle, and I thought I'll just go out to Seattle, Um, and then there's no drugs in Seattle, so that's why I'll get sober.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. And then all of a sudden I'm snorting Oxycontins off my dashboard or something. And and
That'll do
I
it.
realized I realized they were right. I am insane, you know? And so I went to a meeting on the premise that if I'm insane, I'll find a douchebag, the biggest douchebag I can find, and go up to him and say, "Hey man, be my sponsor. I'll do whatever you say to do." And I read his stupid book, did his steps and stuff, and like my life got way better.
That's so funny to look at it like that. I'm just gonna find the biggest fucking cunt and just
Yeah,
go take his course.
yeah. I was like, I hate this motherfucker. So, because I knew that whatever I wanted would be bad for me, because my mind wants to kill me.
Oh,
You
sure.
know,
That's
that was the idea.
a huge step in realizing that you can't trust what you are thinking. Like you can't trust your own judgment at that point. I've gone there too, man. I'm on 5 years next month.
Oh, no
And
shit.
yeah, dude.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, man. I I just I did the same thing, man. It was just once you learn you're a fucking addict, it doesn't matter what the thing is. Like it's either podcasts or Discord or whatever else. But I'm an addict, Like
Yeah,
I just can't help that. So just gotten to the
yeah,
point where I realized I needed to stay away from the things that didn't help me. There's some healthy addictions to have, and those were not it. And I was bad into coke, and I was boozing hard to the tune of almost a bottle of Rumple Mints a day and
yeah,
shit. And dude, it's empowering when you get to a point where you can say, okay, I can go and chill at this place, and I don't need to have a beer. I don't need to have a shot.
yeah. And you
I'm
don't even want
fine.
it. You can
Right.
be around. You can be around someone who's drinking. It doesn't even bother you.
Until they get drunk, then it bothers you. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I just like people like us kind of different in the terms of like we'd rather be around someone who's sober
Right.
on a different level. Even though normal people can get drunk, normal people can have a beer or whatever, and that's fine. And I'm glad for them. But like, I think when it came to comedy, that helped me a lot because I could remember what I was doing. You see a lot of comics in LA just smoking pot nonstop, and that's cool and all. And maybe some of them it doesn't affect. But I started smoking weed when I was 13, dude. My brain didn't even form. You know,
Yeah.
I'm emotionally retarded. You know, when I got sober, I didn't even know how to deal with life. I was like, what do I think about this? Or I'm feeling, I was crazy. It was like, I feel bad. What do I do?
Oh yeah.
You know,
I also had a crash course in that, man. Just but I never stopped smoking pot. Like I still smoke weed, but and one day it might get to the point where I'll just stop that too.
yeah.
But I
Well,
mean,
if it doesn't make your life unmanageable,
yeah.
then that's all that matters, like, but I'm like a purist in that sense, but I take, an antidepressant, I take modafinil, a smart drug. Um, I there are substances can improve your life,
Oh
but
sure.
if it were to take me out of my engagement with my life, then I would know if that's all I wanted to do. I woke up and that's all I wanted to do was a drug. Like I wanted to snort an antidepressant every day, all day. Then I'd be like, I probably shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, both of those things I take, I can do without. I'd rather not, but I can. Yeah, man, I like being sober. It's been hard without the in-person meetings. Hey, 1 second. Let me go to my room real quick.
Right on. I'm going to go ahead and take this moment to remind you all to follow Ryan on Instagram and Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, at Ryan Joseph Comedy. at Ryan Joseph Comedy. And I sort of skimmed past this at the beginning, and I should have. But yes, for those who are not aware, Ryan is an outstanding stand-up comedian who I have seen through Kill Tony, and all of you who have watched this podcast ever or seen anything that I've streamed definitely know what Kill Tony is. And he actually was kind enough to come on here and sit with us today for a little while. Is that right? At Ryan Joseph Comedy on all social media, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, on Twitter it's Ryan Joseph Comic. Dude, thanks for saying that. About I'm an outstanding comic. I have a lot to learn, but you've been really supportive, and a lot of people on this chat, and a lot of people have reached out to me, encouraging me, and that means a lot because I'm not like a top comic. In my mind, I am, but like,
you're fucking funny, dude.
Thanks, but like, I'm not like, sometimes a lot of times during this year, I've been like, what's the point of doing this if it's just fucking open mics? There's no clubs. But even when the Comedy Store was open, dude, those fucks, it would just be like a hierarchy that they wouldn't even let you in, even if you were funny or funnier than their regulars. Like, it was like this little club that you couldn't be in because it was Joe Rogan's like little his nights, his round table of Joe Rogan. And that's cool. Joe Rogan's a very inspiring person, I understand, but like, I felt like it was hard for any comics, and the whole potluck open mic thing where 200 comics were outside signing up to get 16 spots, and the manager would watch you, and then he would pick the shittiest comic to like be the door guy or whatever spot or in development. Like, I wasn't a fan of his choices for developing comics. I'm not afraid to say that publicly. I don't give a fuck you, whatever. But I'm sure he's a nice guy. But like, I'd be so pissed off at the open mics because I would see these people that they would pick that didn't even give a fuck about comedy. And I know like 10 comics that should be up there for him to see. And that annoyed me a lot. I learned to accept it. Like, who am I to say who shouldn't be up there, right?
Right.
But I'll still say it. And because I love comedy. I'm a purist, and I get upset about stuff like that because I'm like, I don't like joke thieves. I don't like, it's just me. I have a big mouth that I have to control a lot of times, and I don't control it.
Dude, I think that comedy is the last frontier, man. Like, everything should be safe. Everything should be safe in comedy. Like, it's always been the case. That's been the place where you go, as we were saying earlier, to remove the power from a serious situation, and you can remove the power from it with comedy, and it should be used that way.
Yeah. That's what the approach that I'm taking is, people tell me all the time, Ryan, you're going to ruin any chance you have at a career the way you are, the way you like, say shit about people, like your stance on the pandemic, the mask, all this stuff. You're going to burn bridges. And I'm like, good, let's fucking do it. Because it's like these top comics that I know think the same way. They want to keep what they have. They want to keep their big podcast. They want to keep all their money, and they've lost what it means to be a comic, which is someone who just says whatever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter what they lose, because that's what touches people and helps people, is when you like are who you are. And I couldn't care less really if it burned a bridge or something. What's going to happen? I don't get on a fucking show. Well, oh, okay. Whatever, I don't care. Like, I just I write jokes and I go up wherever anyone lets me, and I tell them.
Oh yeah, and plus those people who try to be very careful of everything that they say at all times, did they ever really do anything monumental for the most part? You kind of have to always be pushing the envelope to
No, Tim Dillon
get any
gets
kind of
close.
recognition.
Tim Dillon gets close, but he still backtracks, but he's pretty, I like him a lot,
He
but
could be
like,
the funniest person
yeah,
doing it right now.
He's probably the funniest top comic right now.
Yeah.
I think, but he still wants to hold on. But like, I think, when he had Candace Owens and he got shit for it, and I heard that he like apologized for it, or he was kind of like remorseful, or tried to make it okay or something. I think I heard that. I don't know, but if he did that, then forget everything I just said. Because no, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't have $300 million on the line to lose, but like, if you already have $300 million, Joe Rogan, what are you afraid of? Keep your 300 million, say whatever the fuck you want. Don't try to correct Alex Jones when he's on your podcast. Let him say whatever he wants, even if it's not true. That podcast used to be just comics fucking around and saying whatever they want.
Yeah.
That's why it's big. And now, like, it's just becoming commercialized slowly but surely. Even though I would love to be on, please put me on, Joe.
Please, Joe, have us on your show. But I agree. Like, I watched every episode of Rogan when it was live. I didn't care who was on there. I would click it. It didn't matter, and listen to whatever the fuck they were talking about. And like, I didn't care. I would watch any of them that were live. But now that it's not live anymore, and I know that it's just a pre-recorded thing, I don't feel as like inclined to watch it. And then ever since they moved to Spotify, I've only watched a handful of them.
Yeah.
But
where do you watch it? Like, Spotify has like videos on there?
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird, man. It's like you can only watch it on devices and I think on computer, but there's no way to stream the video on to your television, like through a PlayStation or something like that. You can listen to music on Spotify or podcast audio version, but I don't think they allow you to do the video yet on those, which is really interesting. They're going to have to figure out that. And plus, their notifications are not, like, I don't get notified when there's a new episode. Like, YouTube, at least, they nailed the fucking notification. Like, whenever something comes out that you want to see, they let you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're saying in the chat right now that Spotify is hard to use, bad user interface, and it really, really is.
I wonder if he's lost any listeners since he moved there.
Dude, he has to. He has to have lost a lot of listeners. Like, I don't see that there's a possibility that he hasn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would associate Joe Rogan with YouTube. It's weird.
Yeah.
I always look for him on YouTube, and it's just these little clips. But I admire and respect him for what he is, though. So but I've never met the guy.
Yeah.
I have been, like, he used to come to this improv mic that Jeremiah Watkins would hold late at night in the belly room. And I went to that once, and it's really pretty intimate, not many people, and you can like talk to him. Like, he would ask for like ideas, and I was like, homeless people, talk about homeless people. And he's like, they're building a city of homeless people. It was interesting to watch him because I enjoy watching him live. I think he's a good comic. And it was interesting to see how comfortable he was with silence with himself. Like, if he wasn't talking, he would just sit there and he was fine with it, and think. But also he's Joe Rogan. He knows he doesn't even have to do anything.
Right.
So,
and that's another thing too that I've noticed that is a pro's stamp is the silence and just being okay with standing there. Brian Holtzman had a bit in the Comedy Store documentary where he said something and it didn't land, and he just stands there and says nothing, and then he's like, I stay quiet until the silence bothers you more than it bothers me. and just
Yeah.
it was fucking hilarious. The room exploded. I don't know. Silence is a powerful tool if you know how to use it correctly.
Yeah, I respect Brian a lot. Well, I don't want to say it like I know him well, but I have many conversations with him, and he's a he's a good guy. Um, but
Very nice.
yeah, it's a shame that they had him late at night. He should have been like fucking headlining, with his shit. That's the real comedy.
Oh
But
yeah.
I always point out this George Carlin quote: "A comic's duty is to locate where the line is drawn and deliberately cross it." I'm paraphrasing, you know, and but it is what it is, and things will change because if I gain any traction, I am able to do anything live. If I was on a live podcast that was really big with, a million listeners, I would totally say the worst thing I could ever say for sure, just for fun.
Just to see where the line is.
Yeah, just to see what happens, because dude, I wanted to like fake it and go on like America's Got Talent or some shit because they were auditioning here. Go up there with like really clean jokes and a story of overcoming addiction or some bullshit, right? And then get on somehow. And then once I'm live and just say the most racist jokes about rape ever, that would have been I would have been a hero.
Hey, that's the Norm Macdonald route. I think Norm does that.
Really?
Like just where not necessarily not the Norm Macdonald route, but Norm has always been known for just saying the most inappropriate thing possible at the most inappropriate time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. I like the whole.
He's
I
great.
I like that for the because all right, I say this a lot to certain people. Is there's a difference when you are trying to say racist things just for shock value, which is a hacky thing to do. But if you use it in a way that where it's actually fucking funny and it can make people laugh and sort of like we've talked about, like remove power from a shitty institution or situation, then
Yeah.
that's brilliant. But
Yeah.
there is a way to do that in which it's just
Yeah. You can't like if I'm gonna say something like that, I have to make sure it's funny. The worse
right.
it is, the funnier it has to be.
Yes.
Um,
Else it's
and
just edgy and like
yeah, yeah. I think someone once said I have shock humor, and I was very offended because they don't get it. Because it's like shock humor isn't humor if people are generally laughing, and I try to make well-crafted jokes. I try to make stuff that is tricky and just hilarious. When I write jokes, sorry, I got like something in my eye. I
you good.
got when I write jokes, I think about something that's funny to me. Like one day, the image of shaving with your parents naked in the shower as like a grown man, and them teaching you how it was hilarious. It just popped in my head. I was like, okay, I got to write a joke about that. you know, and
Yeah.
the joke of, do you guys remember when we used to take showers with our parents? It's such a weird way to learn how to shave. And that was a joke, and it gets the image across. And but like something really bad, like, but see, um US comedy contest, I was gonna say, but I was gonna say the investigation I'm doing, it they had all my jokes on this form, the really bad ones, and it was just the words. But the words aren't the joke. I mean, they are, but it's like you can't. Yeah, on paper, but you have to say this in the right way, or it's not funny.
Right.
They they basically destroyed art, and they're fucking commies. And that's what they do. They systematically destroy any art that's out there that has any resonance of freedom. They locate it and destroy it, and you can't. It's a. I was totally pissed off, and I can't wait to sue them in court and have them play those jokes live for the whole courtroom and that's, that'd be great. And see if I get a laugh from the
Now,
judge.
would you rather them play you saying those jokes, or would you rather it be a lawyer reading your like a nice little prim, proper lawyer reading?
On second page, I'm not going to send dick pics to girls anymore, just women.
Page 3. I don't have any rape jokes. There's nothing funny about a girl wearing the wrong
dress.
I know I butchered that joke, but that's fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah, that joke is pretty good. But that joke, jokes like evolve until they get to where they need to be. That joke was longer, and it was like, my neighbor got raped, and the cops came to my door asking me if I saw anything. And I was like, dude, I don't know what she was wearing, And I was like, yeah, it's funny, but I was like, I can make it better, quicker, shorter. And so I led it to that one. And I thought the I don't write rape jokes is a great twist, because they think I'm about to say a rape joke, or they wouldn't think I'm about to say a rape joke, but I say a rape joke,
Dude, it's funny. And it's like, it's not even in the punch. Like, 'cause there's nothing funny about a woman wearing the wrong dress. You don't even have to say it again. It's understood. Yeah. That was a really wise thing that you said the other night about, and again earlier, is like saying it without having to say it. And that's a hard mark to hit. But once you get that right, you've kind of got to figure it out.
It's fun, dude. I'm addicted to writing a good joke. If you ask anyone who knows me well, I'm constantly on a nervous breakdown if I can't write any good jokes. And I'll feel bad if I have nothing coming out good. Once I got those shows in Austin, which I'll be going on there next week, like I told you, I felt like, oh wow, comedy still lives. And I wrote some more, and I have some really good new ones that I've been testing out that I'll probably do on Kill Tony. And that made me feel more better, because that's my purpose, like I always struggled with, like, is this selfish or self-serving? Am I just trying to get money or trying to perform, get attention or something? Is this selfish? And then, like, this one guy sent me a message the other day. People send me messages saying, I like your comedy, but this guy said it helps him. And I asked him why. And he said, because he's not a happy person, and just, listening to my comedy throughout the day makes him feel better. And that, like, was the coolest thing I ever heard, and made me realize that I should keep doing this because it matters.
Absolutely. You should, and it does.
Yeah.
Well, man, we've gone well over an hour, and I don't want to keep you for too long, but we'll wrap this thing up. But I do want to ask you, where do you see, if you I like to ask this question to a few people who are on here. If you had anything, like, what do you see yourself, or anything you want to say to yourself in 10 years, 10 years from today, what do you think you want to say to that person?
What I want to say to that person, I'd be like, you better not have said I'm sorry ever.
Fuck yeah, dude. Own that shit. Own that shit 100%.
Yeah, you better have found more lines and crossed them too, or 10-year past Ryan hates you. That's what I'll say.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, I think that it's pretty safe to say that no matter what happens, that 10 years from now, a lot more people are going to know who you are than they do today. And you will have earned every bit of that. But, dude, I appreciate you coming on here to do this, man. You're fucking hilarious, and you're hilarious. Everyone agrees. Everyone in America, everyone agrees.
I believe God gave me the jokes. I believe in God, and God gives me these rape jokes. Okay? Seriously, God gives me these racist jokes. I don't know if he's racist or whatever. That's fine. But, like, I prayed for jokes, and he does it. I suggest people do the same.
Exactly. Just pray for the jokes, and the rape will come.
That's right.
If you rape it, they will come. Ladies and gentlemen, at Ryan Joseph Comic on Twitter, at Ryan Joseph Comedy on Instagram. I have links to those in the live chat. If you scroll up a little bit, there is also a link.
Ryan Joseph Comedy YouTube channel.
Yep, Ryan Joseph Comedy on YouTube. I will also drop a link to that in the description of this video, along with a link to the comedy class in which you can enroll and learn how to do stand-up comedy with the great and powerful Ryan Joseph. Links to all of that will be in the description. Screwballwhiskey.com, reminding you to drink the one and only original peanut butter whiskey. Screwballwhiskey.com, SKREW Ball Whiskey. Tomorrow's stories begin right here. Hashtag get screwed. Hashtag screw it forward. And Ryan, I'm going to get you some. Well, you don't drink, but I'm going to get you some Screwball Whiskey stuff. Some. Yeah, my one and only sponsor over the years has been Screwball Whiskey.
We'll tell him thank you, but I seen you destroy too many lives.
Okay, well, you heard it here first, Screwball. Come hang out with us in the Kill Tony Discord at killdiscord.com, dramacityproductions.com, dramacityproductions.com/Kelsey Hudgins Show, and follow me on Instagram, Twitch, and Twitter at Yonder Wizard. And of course, please click that subscribe button on the YouTube channel and that follow button on the Twitch, if you don't mind. Ryan, good shit. Thank you so much for being here, buddy.
This guy's awesome. He's funny too, and a really sweet guy. I like this guy a lot.
You heard it here first. All right, guys. Be good people. In a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Peace, bitches.